Platt, and today we try a classic ale from Michigan. That's 6 of Platt's Beer of the Week. So the particular beer we have today is Two Hearted Ale. Comes to us from the fine folks at Bell's Brewing. We reviewed Lager of the Lake before from them, and I think I've also done their Oktoberfest. A little background to Bell's. Bell's located in Comstock, Michigan. That is in southwest Michigan, the glamorous part. It was founded by Larry Bell back in 1983. At the time, it was known as Kalamazoo Brewing Company, even though it wasn't a brewery. It actually started off as a home brew shop back in 1983. Now, logical progression, you know, the guy that owns a home brew shop obviously brews, all his customers brew, they share beers, and then, you know, hey, you ought to start selling the stuff. And that's what he started doing in 1985. Larry produces beer on a 15-gallon soup kettle, which means he's probably brewing 10-gallon batches at a time. That first year, 1985, they produced 135 barrels. A barrel is 31 gallons US, which means he's doing 3 batches per barrel, and he did 135 that year. He did a lot of brewing that year. I bet that was a long year for Larry for sure. Bell's is the oldest craft brewery in Michigan, and when I saw this next stat, I thought that can't be true, and I did some thinking, but it is. It is the oldest craft brewery east of Colorado. I was trying to think of some of the original craft breweries, and they're all out west. There just was not a craft culture east of Colorado back then, so kudos to Bell's for that. In 1993, they opened a brew pub called the Eccentric Cafe. Really loved that time. Move ahead to 2003, they opened up a new production facility and headquarters in Comstock. Comstock, I don't know if it's a suburb or satellite city, but it's a neighbor of Kalamazoo. So they stayed in the city, you know, the area, but moved out to Comstock, where they are still located today. In 2006, they switched the name to Bell's Brewery. So they've been Bell's not quite as long as they were Kalamazoo, but almost. So, and I do remember beers from the old Kalamazoo. So, next in 2012, they bought out all the old investors, the original investors in the company. They bought those out, and they became a completely family-owned entity. And they stayed that way all the way up till 2021, when they eventually sold themselves to a company called Lion Little World Beverage. It's an Australian company, but they are a subsidiary of Kirin, the giant Japanese brewing company. And apparently the subsidiary also owns New Belgium. So that was a couple of craft breweries that they took up, took kind of out of craft and into big beer. Real quick, let's talk about some of the beers. First is their Amber Ale, 5.8% ABV. This is the first beer they produced. And if you were around back in the early days of craft beer, if you went to a craft brewery back in the 80s, there weren't IPAs, there weren't hazies, there weren't pastry stouts or sours. You had a few pale ales, blonde ales, of course, are kind of popular, and then amber ales are one of the more popular styles. And when you learn home brewing, amber ales are kind of one of the first styles you learn, so it just kind of made sense that that was their first beer. Next is Kalamazoo Stout, 6% ABV. This is a stout with the term they use is significantly hopped. We talked about before, American stouts are more hop aggressive than dry Irish stouts anyway. But this is aggressive for an American stout. So if you're a hop head and you normally avoid stouts, you may want to give that one a try. Next is Oberon Ale, 5.8% ABV. This is a summer seasonal ale of theirs. They refer to as sunshine in a glass. That just makes me happy to say sunshine in a glass. Lastly, on the other end of the spectrum is their Christmas Ale, 7.5% ABV. With hints of caramel. At 7.5, that's enough alcohol where you're going to start feeling it. You're going to get that warming in the chest, that caramel, those kind of flavors. Perfect for the wintertime. Well, before we try this particular beer, though, let's check out stats. Well, before we try this particular beer today, I got a fun little discovery I made the other day, just tooling around the internet, and I thought, what's the world's largest liquor store? Let's look that up. And I did, and I found it, and it is called Daveco Beer, Wine, and Spirits, located in Thornton, Colorado. That is a suburb of Denver. I'm going to say I probably lost a lot of money if I'd have bet that Denver was the home of the world's largest liquor store. Not that those folks don't like a good beer or but I just wouldn't put the two together. It is 102,000 square feet. It opened back in 1986. Probably the one stat that really sticks out to me, according to the article I read about it, they have 14,376 different products they sell. I can't even imagine doing the order, doing the inventory, making sure the shelves stay stocked. I mean, that is just absolutely outrageous. Some people refer to it as Home Depot for liquor, and I think that's a great analogy right there. A few other numbers for you: 800 different beers, 2,400 different spirits, and a 7,500 bottle wine cellar, and I think 9,000 wines overall or something. Just, that is incredible. To me, I would almost need to plan a vacation to go there. Like, I hope they have like a snack bar or a restaurant or something, you know, because you can kill a whole day, like, you know, get up and go, like, you know, you have lunch, like, well, we hit the white wine aisle, aperitifs, and a little bit of the ciders. We're getting a little break here because we need to save up our energy for when we go through the whiskey aisle. You know, it's just absolutely incredible. If any of you guys out there have been Daveco, please leave comments. I'd love to hear about the place. And sadly enough, I was in Denver a couple of years ago and just didn't make it. But if I'm ever back in town, we will be going. And I will definitely post pictures. Well, with that being said, let's drink a beer. All right, nice copper color. A little more than a finger with a very light khaki, but there is a little khaki color on that head. Let's check the nose. Oh, that's malt, but I do get some hops too. The hops are definitely present. The classic American style, that kind of piney note to it. Let's jump in this bad boy. That's pretty nice. Oddly enough, I got a decent amount of hops in the nose. Did not get as much in the palate. Now it's starting to kind of come a little bit later. It's more of an aftertaste thing, but the initial sip, I didn't get a ton of hops. I just got a good bit of nice maltiness. The body, medium, yeah, good medium body to it. I'm not gonna say it's viscous or thick or it's medium plus, but a good medium bodied beer. Man, just delicious malt notes, and we're kind of getting off the light biscuity notes and more into caramel and toffee notes with this. There is a sophistication to it compared to a standard kind of ale, you know. But again, for an IPA, the hop flavor doesn't come out. I get it on the nose and a little bit on the bitterness, but I'm not getting a ton of hop flavor on this. But it's not bad. It's very balanced. Just a nice malty beer with just a hint of hops. Actually, for a guy who's more of a malty beer guy, this is an IPA I could really get into. I've opined before that I'm not the biggest IPA guy, but I could get into this. Yeah, it's kind of like earlier when I was talking about the stout they do that's really hopped. That could be a stout for a hop head. This is probably an IPA for a malt head out there. Best way I can put it. Well, I hope you liked this video. If you did, please subscribe down below. Also, please like the video because it lets YouTube know we're putting out good content. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or beers you'd like me to try, please leave them in the comment section, or you can always contact me on the Twitter page. Till next time, bombs up.